Hello, welcome to my channel, Angela's Kitchen Garden, where I grow my own organic fruit, vegetables and cut flowers. Today I've come down to harvest my potatoes and I'll show you what they look like now. So I grow my potatoes in sacks and I do this just so that it's easier for harvesting. And about a week ago I stopped watering them. It did rain last night, but they are much drier than they would have been. And then what I do is I just come along, I get the foliage like this, I just give it a good tug, give it a shake, and you can see the potatoes in there already. And now with potatoes, because you can get blight on potatoes, and I'm growing tomatoes on my plot, I don't want that in my soil. And so just in case, I don't think these have got it, but just in case, what I do is I bin all of my potato foliage. I don't put that into my compost bin. I do compost most things, but anything from the nightshade family, so my potatoes, my tomatoes, things like that, I don't compost. And I just put it in the bin at home, in my food waste bin, because when they compost them, they get up to a much higher temperature. And so that's what I do with those. I'll just pull these all out and then I'll show you what I do next. So now that all of the foliage is taken out of the bags, I have got 6 bags left. I've already harvested a couple of these this year, but these are my last 6, and I need these bags because I'm going to plant them up with sweet potatoes, which will then give me a harvest towards the end of the year. And so what I do with these, actually I'll just show you this quickly. So when you're pulling them up, what you might find is you might find a potato like this. This is quite rotten. Or if I show you the one up here, this one here is like this. Don't worry about that. These are your seed potatoes. So these are the potatoes you put in at the beginning of the year that helped your plant get going. And so those aren't edible. So you can just get rid of those as well. But it doesn't mean that all of your potatoes are going to be rotten. These are just your seed potatoes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip out my bags of potatoes, and I use a wheelbarrow. I just tip them out in there, and then you can sort through them and get all the potatoes. So I've tipped my bag out into my wheelbarrow, and this year a couple of them I have actually just grown in a compost bag. So I bought the compost inside this bag, I poked a couple of holes in the bottom, and then what I did was I just gradually filled it up and I kept the sides rolled down, and they worked really well. So this is my potatoes, and it's like mining for gold when you do this. It's really fun when you go and see how many potatoes you've got. So you just have to carefully work your way through the bag and just unearth as many potatoes as you can. This has still got the stalk on, so get rid of that. And then I just put them in a little tray down here. So I'll sort through. This has got loads in actually. This is just 3 seed potatoes. It's got a big pile up here. And because I let the soil dry out, there's another little one over here. Because I let the soil dry out, it just means that this is just so much easier going through. You can pick these when they're a little bit younger, and then they'll be smaller. And here, this is another seed potato. Can you see the difference in colour? So that's darker, and these are nice and light. Now this, you don't want to eat it. Even though it doesn't look rotten, it's not going to be nice. So this one needs to be composted or disposed of. I put that in the council green waste bins. I don't eat those. So you need to make sure that you harvest the nice yellow ones. So I'm going to sort through this. What I'll do is I'll just gradually, as I go along, I will get my compost and then just put it back into my compost bag so that I can make sure that I can go through all of the compost and find all of my potatoes. So I'll show you how many I've got in this one sack here. I'll just give it a quick sort. So I've finished sorting through that first bag of potatoes, and I'm really pleased with the results this year. If you have a look, I'll show you a bit closer in a second. I've got a nice harvest from that first bag. So this is my first bag of potatoes, So you can see they look lovely. I've got a nice selection of sizes. So what I tend to do, I've left these a little bit too long if I just wanted them as new potatoes, but I prefer doing it like this because it means these ones I can roast, and then these little ones I can then use as my new potatoes. But if I'd harvested them a little bit earlier, what it would have meant is it would have meant that I would have had a lot more mini potatoes like this one. But this way I've got a lot more potatoes that are usable. So now I've got these ones out and this bag of compost back in there, what I need to do is I need to go through these and take out all of the potatoes. So that's what I'll get on with now, and then I will come back and I'll show you how many I've got. So I've finished harvesting all of my potatoes, and as you can see, there were absolutely loads. So these are all of the potatoes that I've harvested from the 6 bags of potatoes. So each bag had 3 seed potatoes in it. So that's 18 potatoes. 18 seed potatoes has produced all of these. There's absolutely loads. And look at this. There was one that was a little heart-shaped potato. It's so cute. I like the fact that they're different sizes. So it means that you can use them for different things. So the smaller ones I can use as a standard sort of new potato, and the slightly bigger ones I can use for roasting. So they're really good. So with my potatoes, I haven't been very adventurous with the types of varieties that I grow. And I was wondering if you had any suggestions of any particularly delicious ones that I could try next year. So if you do, could you just put them down in the comments below? I'd be really interested to hear. I find that with some of the vegetables that I grow in the plot, like my peas and my cucumbers, tomatoes, sweet corn, things like that, there is no comparison, and carrots, there's no comparison between the ones that I grow on my allotment, which are absolutely delicious, and the ones that you buy in the supermarket. They just don't taste the same. But I was wondering whether, with my potatoes, they haven't got that real difference in flavour, and I was wondering if it was the varieties that I grow, or whether it's just the fact that with potatoes you don't get that real contrast in flavour between homegrown and store-bought. Or it might just be that I buy organic potatoes from the supermarket, so they kind of, they're growing really nicely anyway. So any suggestions would be really gratefully received. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!